Hello and welcome back to the Spotlight. We're here again and I'm going to talk about chance creation, the myths of our stats and XG, our so-called chance creating maestro, and what has really triggered me from last night's Champions League games to talk about the team as a whole and the way we create chances. But if you do listen to me a lot on YouTube, please check out my TikTok. It's United Spotlight 1. There's much more regular content over there because it's easier to make videos on TikTok for me, having a full-time job and trying to fit all this in and the editing and everything. So please do me a favor if you are watching on here and not on TikTok and you want to hear more from me, get on TikTok because there'll be a lot more videos over there. And chance creation. So let's get straight into it. The points I'm going to talk about today. Chances, XG and stats, Bruno and KDB, Rasmus and scoring goals at Napoli, and the way other teams create chances. So first of all, I'm going to show a capture here, if I can get it up. This has come out a lot. This chances created Bruno image. Bruno's won the most possession in midfield and has created the most chances. So this come out a couple of weeks ago and I've talked about it a little bit in stat creation and XG and now I think it's a load of bull crap. We have here, Bruno has won the ball back the most at the Premier. This is a couple of weeks old data now, but I'm just using it for an example for what I want to talk about. And he's created the most chances in the Premier League. This is what people were using a couple of weeks ago to defend both Bruno and Ruben Amorim about why it's not all about the players and what's going on and Ruben's system, it's working. We're not just putting chances away and that kind of malarkey talk that is just nonsense, really. Because the reason why I've got onto this topic, and I know I'm going off the leading list already, but it's really a thing about chance creation, stats and XG. I think if you believe what I've just put on the screen now to be true, that we're creating loads of chances and we're not just taking them and things are going to click overnight, and you believe what you're seeing on paper, you're not watching the games. Bruno might have the most possession win-backs in the Premier League. But is our midfield wide open? Yes. He might have the most chance creation in the league. Are any of those chances real chances? My argument again is no. I would love to see the 12 chances created from this stat here laid out in front of me in a video of every one of those 12 that is being counted as a chance and tell me if any of them are real chances, because I very, very much doubt any of them are. We said we had the same problem last season and buying new strikers and 10s would solve our goal scoring issues, but that's clearly not happened. And why? Because it's not the front three missing chances that's the problem. It's the sort of chances that get logged as chances that we then put on paper and think are gospel chances, and we've got the greatest maestro midfielder ever creating chances. And I wish I could show the Napoli game on here and the reasons why I'm talking about this, Kevin De Bruyne and Bruno Fernandes. But that's what I want to say about the stats. The XG and the stats need to be ignored. Because if you're looking on paper and thinking that we're creating enough chances and enough good chances and it's not our forwards, then why did we say the same thing last season and now we've bought 3 proven goal scorers who are still not scoring goals? And the reason, number one, for that is the type of chances we create are not real chances. They're stat pad chances. They're hit it and hope balls over the top that lands with Mbeumo, who's then got to take the ball out of the air, control it with a defender, and then gets a shot off. It's not a chance. So to point 2 here, Bruno versus KDB, and I think the difference is just beyond belief, in my opinion. Bruno is a moment's chance creator that tries something 15 times and one of them it comes off. Kevin De Bruyne takes risks and creates chances at will. Look at the 2 goals from last night in Napoli's Champions League game, which came from Kevin De Bruyne and was scored by a striker who failed at Man United. Kevin De Bruyne picks the ball up on the edge of his own area for the first one. He runs 10 or 15 yards, takes a player on, runs another 15 or 20 yards, and then plays a perfectly weighted, along the ground, splitting pass to Rasmus to get a one-on-one, who then uses his pace and has an easy finish. Somebody tell me the last time Bruno or any of our so-called chance creators played a perfectly weighted, along the ground, line-breaking pass to give our forwards a one-on-one. I'll let you go away and study that and come back in about 2 hours when you found one from 4 years ago, because it hasn't happened. It does not happen at Manchester United. And the biggest culprit of it is Bruno, because he's our lead creator, whether he's in the 10 or the 8, he's irresponsible with the ball. It's all hit and hope football. It's knock it over the top and one of the forwards gets hold of it and has a pop shot. It's a really, really poor cross, which I'll get into later about other teams and the way the cross. Kevin De Bruyne's second goal yesterday, well, his second assist yesterday, gets the ball out wide, puts a pinpoint cross into Rasmus's head, and he scores. Can somebody please tell me the last time Bruno Fernandes or any of our other so-called creators put a half-decent cross into the box? I'll let you go away for 2 hours again and find one, because you won't find one. Bruno's crossing is absolutely abysmal. I'm sick to death of him doing this thing where he either hits the first man off a corner or a free kick, or if the box is, say, here, he gets the ball just outside, 25 or 30 yards out, not wide enough to put a cross in. He's in the inside position, and he does that first-time flick cross to nobody. And this is why we don't score goals, because the chance creation, whether you think it's a number 1 XG, number 1 stat, number 1 chance creator in the Premier League, the chances that are being created are not real chances. And again, I would love somebody to come back at me with the 12 so-called chances from that screenshot that Bruno created, and let me have a look through them and see what constitutes as a real chance in my eyes, because I can imagine there's probably 1 or 2 at best. But as they like to statisticize everything and put everything to data, a half chance is now classed as a proper chance. And people look at the statistics and say he's creating the most chances in the Premier League. When you use your eyeballs and watching a 90-minute game, there's not been a single chance created. I'll get back to Rasmus on this. Rasmus has obviously been applauded now for doing well in Napoli. Scored 3 goals or whatever, getting 2 goals last night. Was Rasmus good enough for Man United? No, I've criticised Rasmus a lot. But was he given these type of chances? No. And just on the quick topic of players leaving Manchester United and getting better, one, I think a lot of it is they are going to a lower standard of league, so they look better. The Premier League is a better league than Italy. It's a better league than Spain. It's a better league than France. Most teams in the mid-table of the Premier League would go away and be finishing in the top 3 of all of those leagues easily. Teams like Brighton, Crystal Palace, those types of teams will be right up there in every single European league. And that is why players can leave Manchester United and go play for Napoli and win leagues. Conte's done it before with Inter Milan. He took Mkhitaryan and Lukaku, Ashley Young, and went and won leagues with Inter Milan in Serie A with so-called past it Premier League players. The league standard is a lot lower than the Premier League, and that is why players shine who leave Man United and go to these leagues, because they are not going to other Premier League teams and performing. They're going to other European leagues that the standard is lower and looking good. But I also do agree that they're playing in a better setup where the team knows what they're doing. They're probably coached better and you get more out of the player as well. I do agree with that, but it's not all they're going to Napoli and becoming worldies. City, in their poor form at the start of the Champions League campaign this year, went away to Napoli and won comfortably 2-0. That's all you need to know. Kevin De Bruyne has gone to Napoli and is setting Rasmus up with clear chances because he's a proper chance creator. And I just want to talk about other Premier League teams and the way they create chances compared to us. If you look at City over the past, if you look at Arsenal, if you look at Liverpool, they pin teams back with possession in the final third. You have players like Odegaard, players like Kevin De Bruyne in the past, if we're going to stay on the De Bruyne topic. Players like that who keep the ball in the final third and they pass it wide. And if there's not an opportunity, it comes back into centre and it goes back the opposite way. And they will keep doing it until there is a chance to be created. We don't do that. Whoever it is who gets the ball on the edge of the opposition box or in the final third for us, look for a killer pass every single time. And 1 in 50 might come off. You cannot sustain attacks like that for a couple of reasons. If you give the ball away constantly in the final third, you transitioned on and you give away easy goals, which we've seen Manchester United do on tens or hundreds of occasions over the last 2 or 3 seasons. Give the ball away too easily in the opposition final third, transitioned on goal. What people don't remember is who gave it away in the first place. One of the creative players. Not risk-taking, losing possession too easily. Like, I was speaking to a mate of mine at work yesterday who's an Arsenal fan. And we were talking about the differences between Odegaard and Bruno. So if you want to take 2 players who are in the Premier League now and 2 of the so-called most creative players in the Premier League right now, the difference is if Odegaard touches the ball 10 times, 9 times he will pass it 5 to 20 yards to another Arsenal player to restart a move. It will go wide, it will come back. It'll go wide the other way, come back. It'll go to Rice, it'll come back. And eventually they get in behind and they'll score a sweaty goal. And City used to do that constantly with De Bruyne, Sterling and that lot. They would work the channels, backwards, forwards. No impatient passing, no knocking it over the top every single time. They would work the channel, and eventually they would get in behind, pull it back to striker, goal. Liverpool do the same thing to some extent. The difference we have is we have players who are technically not good enough to do it for one, but we have one player who we all say is technically good enough in Bruno Fernandes. But for every 10 times he touches the ball, 8 of them he tries to find a killer pass and gives the ball away. One of those crappy little first-time crosses to nobody, a shot, a little dink over the top, a wasted ball that's out wide, or even a basic pass that's given away too easily and too sloppily. People need to see the fundamental differences between a team that creates and a person that creates, because Bruno Fernandes tries to create or do a killer pass every time he gets it. That's not world-class chance creation. That's possession loss. Somebody like De Bruyne, Odegaard, Those types of players move the ball around intelligently until there is a chance to play the killer pass. And it's a huge, huge, huge difference. Go watch City from the past, how they create chances, byline and pullback. Go watch Arsenal now, the way they hold the ball on the edge of the 18-yard box, and it goes between De Bruyne, Saka, not De Bruyne, Odegaard, Saka, Rice, and it goes backwards and forwards, 5, 10-yard passes until eventually the chance comes. And that's how you sustain pressure and win games and don't get done on transition. You must be more intelligent with the ball. And this is why I constantly dig Bruno out, because for me, he's a moment creator. He will do 20 things and one comes off and everybody remembers it. He will have a 3 out of 10 performance for 20 games in a row, but do one thing and everybody forgets the other 30 things that he did poorly. People like De Bruyne, Odegaard, the real creators in the Premier League that have won Premier Leagues over the last 5 to 10 years are not doing that. And we must get away from this hit and hope chance creation. This every time we get the ball, we force it chance creation. We need to play as a team who work the ball left to right and wait for opportunities to create. And once we start doing that, we will start to see more chances created for our strikers. But while we keep getting the ball and every time we get it, we force it, we will not see real chances created. And I'm going to finish the video there. You tell me what you think. Do Man United force too many chances? We don't do what the other top sides do around Europe in the Premier League and maintain possession in dangerous areas to wait for chance creation. We force chance creation. Nobody's ready for it. Everybody's turning, chasing shadows, don't know what's going to happen. And that is the reason why our strikers are struggling. Sesko's struggling now. Rasmus struggled. Martial struggled. Everybody, the graveyard shift. It's been the same for years. And why? The same players are there now as our creative maestros as they were when we started calling the forward position a graveyard shift. And I wonder why. Because there's no sustained pressure. There's no pattern to chance creation. It's all hit and hope. And until we get away from that, and I've said it before on many videos, until we get away from Bruno Fernandes' hit and hope chance creation and we have sustained pressure, we will see no change in the way our strikers and forwards get chances, because basically they create their own chances. There's no through balls like Rasmus got last night. There's no one-on-ones. It's all bits and pieces. Like knockdowns. It's all a long ball that they have to get hold of and do something themselves to score a goal. There's no real pattern to anything, and there never will be when Bruno Fernandes is our sole chance creator. So get in the comments. Am I being too harsh on Bruno? Am I right about the way Man United as a whole create chances and we need to change? And that is all I've got to say. I think Kevin De Bruyne is a world-class chance creator? I do not think Bruno is one. That is a question for you in the comments if you've got this far. Who would you take in your side as your prime creator? For me, it will be Kevin De Bruyne every day of the week, because he is an all-round midfielder who does everything and is proven to do everything at the highest level. And I'm going to go now because I've been ranting again for 20 minutes and every video I have at the moment seems to be a rant. Poosh.